A very good morning to everyone present here today. I, Urvashi Nandajok, on behalf of IILM University, welcome you to our open house session, designed especially for students who aspire to join the field of law. Today, we are joined by our esteemed panelists, students of grade 12, and parents. But before we explore the department, let's introduce you to IILM and take you through the journey since 1993.
Today, IILM celebrates 28 years of excellence in higher education with a vision of being global, inclusive, and responsible. But how did we get here? Our story began in Delhi in the 1980s with the vision of its founder, Dr. Kulwant Rai. The roots of the institution began with the Banyan Tree School in 1986, which was followed by the establishment of IILM in 1993. Thereafter, several milestones were accomplished, one of which was the collaboration with the University of Bradford in 1996 that made us the pioneers of international management education in India. In the latter half of the 90s, we launched the annual cultural festival Mosaic, our first referee journal, Management of Change, and also had the privilege to welcome Dr. Manmohan Singh to the convocation ceremony in 1997. With the coming of the digital age, IILM went online with its website in 1998. It also established its second campus in Jaipur. The year also saw the launch of the Roshni Rai School that paved the way to free education for the economically weaker sections of society. In 1999, with immense pride, we held the first convocation for our undergraduate batch. Subsequently, the fifth annual convocation for the postgraduate batch had Mr. Arun Jaitley as our chief guest. 2001 marked the establishment of IILM Engineering Campus at Greater Noida. The feather to our hat came in 2003 when Business Standard rated IILM amongst the top 15 private business schools. We continue to spread our roots by establishing banyan tree schools across Chandigarh, Jagdishpur, Jaipur, Lucknow, and Bhopal, all of it steadily over the next decade. While IILM Institute for Higher Education started training senior IAS and IPS officers at our campus. In 2004, we launched our campuses in Gurugram and Lucknow. Humbled and grateful, we also had the privilege to welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama at our campus in 2005. And in 2007, we were blessed to have with us Sri Murari Bapuji for our Founders' Day celebration. Every year, IILM confers the Global Thinker Award to distinguished thought leaders and stalwarts. In 2008, this award was presented to Professor C.K. Prahlad. In 2009, IILM signed the MOU with Indira Gandhi National Open University to jointly develop innovative programs in design at both the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels. Ushering in academic growth for industry leaders, we started training 5,000 employees of IBM Daksh in 2010 and continued to conduct several executive trainings for various companies subsequently. 2013 added significant accolades to our credit. It was in this year that IILM was selected as one of the champion business schools in India by UN Global Compact. In the same year, we were accorded SAKS accreditation among 7 other business schools in India. All of this strengthened our endeavor to take responsible education to institutions and corporates across South Asia and beyond. It was in 2014 that IILM Lodi Road hosted a TEDx event on the theme Lifelong Learning. One of the speakers was our alum Arjun Vajpayee, the youngest Indian at the time to climb Mount Everest. In 2014, IILM ranked amongst top 15 business schools in the world under the 3 Palms of Excellence. That year, our students continued to soar greater heights and won the prestigious NASA Rover Challenge in United States of America. In our endeavor to stay ahead with times and work on skill development in India, IILM signed an MOU with National Skill Development Corporation in 2015. In 2017, IILM Greater Noida received the NAAC Grade A accreditation. In the same year, our engineering students won the Innovation Challenge in New York for PRME, led by the UN Global Compact Leaders Summit. In 2018, our Greater Noida campus was awarded by ASSOCHAM as the best planned ecologically balanced campus in India. A moment of pride to see over 12,000 alumni successfully established across India and abroad. With each passing year, we continue to strengthen our network with industry experts and better establish ourselves in the world. In 2018, our MBA program was ranked 13 by EdUniversal. And the same year saw the inauguration of IILM University, Gurugram, by Honorable Vice President Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu.
When you think about college, it's easy to think of it like a building or a large classroom. A desk, long hallways, piles of books, a place where you're going to carve out your life. But when you get there, you realize you're not the only one. When you go to university, it's people meeting people, learning about each other and growing together. It's not always about knowing exactly where you're headed. There are books, there are tests, there are classrooms, but there's a very important part you can't put together on paper. It's living. It's working together to build something bigger than ourselves. It's laughter with conversations with good friends. It's experiencing who we are. It's expressing who we are. It's hard work, but lots of fun. So we go to college for the education, but in the end, what we take away is the experience. Experience IILM University.
I am also glad to know that the university mission is in sync with the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Bhai Modi to create a new India on the basis of inclusive economic development through education and skill development among students. Education is important, skill development is important, skill upgradation, and also inclusive development. That's the need of the hour.
And we live for these experiences, all for our students. We understand that students today are intrigued by many disciplines. And for aspirants who are interested to know about career options in the field of law specifically, today's session shall enlighten you on the progressive approaches towards a legal profession. You will also understand the learning experience, and we will also take you through the possible career prospects as you e-meet with our renowned speaker, Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh. This will be followed by a question and answers round, so feel free to drop in all your questions in the Q&A box and we'll have them addressed towards the end. With that, I'm pleased to introduce you to Professor Dr. Asha Verma, Dean of IILM Law School, to take forward the next segment of our session. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Urvashi. Good morning to all the esteemed participants. Welcome to the IILM Law School, Gurugram, in this open house session by Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh, Pro-Chancellor, IILM University. This is an aerial view of the university located in the heart of Gurugram. IILM Law School was established in 2019 and since then it is reaching heights. Third slide. Next. IILM Law School has a mission to evolve and impart comprehensive legal education and to achieve excellence. We work towards the growth, development and formation of such a generation of advocates who possess the intellectual genius, moral consciousness and social responsibility. We maintain a tradition of intellectual and professional excellence. We promote advanced studies and research in all the branches of law, starting from first semester itself. We inspire our graduates to make positive contributions to their communities throughout their professional lives. We sensitize them regarding the various socio-legal issues of the country. With a view to foster the rule of law and the objectives enshrined in the Constitution of India, like impartiality, honesty, integrity, non-discriminatory nature, respect for all religions, we inculcate all these values through various programs and activities. To raise legal awareness in the community for a greater social and economic justice, it is done through the legal aid camps. Our aim is to combine quality legal education with necessary input of practical training like workshops, webinars, competitions, court visits, and internships. Our aim is to prepare passionate, tireless, and ethical advocates who understand the immense responsibilities of the profession and the law's ability to affect the society. Here at IILM, we give the students the flexibility, knowledge, and wisdom to pursue their passion through liberal education, where they can study some other subjects apart from law, like business, design, liberal arts, technology, fashion, psychology. This is the Board of Governors of IILM Law School. You can see all the eminent personalities from the legal field part of this board. Former Chief Election Commissioner Dr. S.Y. Qureshi is our Chancellor. We have Honorable Justice Manmohan Sareen, Madan B. Lokur in the board, and many other prominent personalities. Very quickly, let's have some glimpses of the IILM Law School. We have a research center where we train our students to do the research on various emerging legal issues. We conducted the national judgment analysis on Pegasus, where we received entries from all across the country. Legal Aid Center is a center. Next slide, please, Purvi. Legal Aid Center is Legal Aid Center provides free legal aid to the common masses. We organize legal literacy camps, create legal awareness. We have also adopted 4 villages under the guidance of the District Commissioner. This is the photograph. Next slide, please. This is the photograph of the finals of first national moot court competition, which was conducted from 7th to 9th April, which was a grand success with teams participating from all over India. We keep on organizing webinars and conferences to engage the students in day-to-day legal awareness. Some of the very prominent personalities like Kiran Bedi, Mr. Salman Khurshid, Dr. Narendra Singh, Professor Joseph Tanika, they have come to deliver lectures to our students. To give a holistic development to the students, we have many clubs and committees like debate club, cultural club, law club, photography club, sports club, and many more. Next slide, please. Slide. You can see some of the dignitaries and faculty members in this slide. These are the most important resource of IILM Law School. Our faculties are trained, experienced, and qualified in different specializations. We have separate hostel for boys and girls with all the modern facilities like good and hygienic mess, Wi-Fi, and safe and secure environment. So that's all from my side. So let's move to the main attraction of today's session. Next slide. This is the last slide, please. So it is an honor for me to introduce Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh, though he does not need any introduction. Designated as Pro-Chancellor, IILM University, Gurugram, Dr. Ranbir Singh is founder and former Vice Chancellor of NALSAR, Hyderabad, and National Law University, Delhi. He has been associated with the National Legal Service Authority, Indian Law Institute, National Police Academy, Indian Society of International Law, Committee of Experts on Law, National Commission for Women, National Institute of Criminology and Forensic Science, DNA Profiling Advisory Committee, SARC Law India Chapter, Commonwealth Legal Education Association, All India Council of Technical Education, New Delhi, then governing body of the Central Board of Secondary Education, New Delhi, National Institute of Rural Development, Hyderabad, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla, and the 19th Law Commission of India. He has presented India's National Report on Human Rights at the United Nations Human Rights Council, Geneva, Switzerland. He has also been a member of the esteemed committee that drafted the new Police Act. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh, sir, to share his experiences on the legal education. You are most welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Asha and faculty members. Wonderful presentation in the beginning. Welcome to IILM parents and students for the session on legal education. Dear students, when you decide to join legal profession, you are planning to join the most prestigious and noble profession for two reasons. Number one, because of the importance of the legal profession and the contribution of lawyers. And the second is because of multiple career options. Let me illustrate the importance of legal profession. For example, how many names of doctors, engineers, etc. we find who fought for the freedom of the country in anywhere, either in India or abroad. Except lawyers, you do not find many names. Take example of India, where great leaders who were all lawyers like Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel, and many more were in the forefront for the freedom struggle. Even at the international level, maximum contribution to freedom struggle is of the lawyers, to name a few: Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, if you say Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So there are hundreds and hundreds of lawyers who fought and sacrificed their life for the freedom of the country. In India, many bar at law went behind bars to bring freedom to India. So the lawyers occupy a very, very important place in any country, and so are the institutions imparting legal education. Let me draw the landscape of legal education in India today. There are more than 1,700 institutions imparting legal education. At the base level are the law colleges. Then there are law faculties, which are about 250 in number. At the top level are law schools, or we call law universities, which are more than 25 now. The major reforms in legal education was because of the emergence of the law schools, law universities, and the first one being the National School of India University, Bangalore, which was established in 1988. For 10 long years, there was no other law school. Then there was a meeting of the law ministers in 1996 at Bhubaneswar, Odisha, where it was decided that since Law School Bangalore was a huge success, so why not to establish law schools in each and every state? With the result, the second law schools were established in Hyderabad at NALSAR, University of Law, and also at NLU Bhopal. This was a big step and major first generation reforms in legal education, because earlier to that, joining law was not a favored discipline for students like medicine and engineering, etc. Rather, the students to study law came by chance, not by choice. After emergence of the law schools today, students compete to join law for about CLAT, if you see, those who have to join the law universities or law schools in the country, roughly 70,000 students appear for 3,000 seats. So the students these days join the institutions not by chance, but by choice. So we find a shift that from chance to choice. Let me give you an example of one of my girl students, Ms. Rangachari. She is, of course, married now, and Mrs. Rangachari. She came to admission at Delhi, and we have a practice in Delhi that normally I see the parents when the students come for admission. So before admission, she came to see me with the father. And when they came to my office, they said, "Sir, we have got a problem. I said, tell me. And the problem was, the father said that she has qualified IIT Madras, she has qualified the St. Stephens, she has qualified CLAT, she is the 5th ranker, and now she has also qualified NLU Delhi. So we want to know where should we join. I said, no, I will be the last person to inform you which institution you should join. You ask your peer group and you make your own decisions. You can take time. We still have time to think. So you can come to me after a week and then we can think about it. And I found that after a week, they were again there waiting in my lounge. And I jokingly said, I'm sure you must not be joining us. And to my surprise, Rangashiri said, no, sir, we will disappoint you. We are going to join NLU Delhi. And then I asked her, why you want to join NLU Delhi? She said, my basic aim is that for me, law degree is so important, but at the same time, I want to come in civil services. And you will be amazed to know that she had that ambition, and she started appearing in the civil service examination. First time she failed in the initial test, which you call it and then after that she got very disappointed. And in fact, I had told her when she said that she would like to join IAS, I wrote IAS in front of her name and saved her phone number. I said, this is my expectation from you. I'm sure you will one day make it. Second time she again appeared, and in that examination, she got lower rank services like security services. And she again got very much disappointed, and she phoned me from Chennai. Sir, I don't want to appear again. I am very much disappointed because I fared very well. I said, no, take a last chance. You must do it, because we have examples where a particular student failed in preliminaries, failed in the main examination, and next time you remember that girl from Haryana, the doctor girl who topped the IAS examination. I said there are examples like this. So on my persistence, she appeared again, and to everybody's surprise, and there was a good news that she came in IFS that time. And now she is posted in the embassy of Indian embassy at Beijing, and we are constantly in touch. Now, these are the kind of success stories of these institutions. So today, because of multiple career options, as I said earlier, students are joining law schools. Let me illustrate the career options available to the students. They can join litigation, and right from the lower court to the Supreme Court, they can go and practice. They can do corporate lawyering. They can join a corporate law firm or multinational. They can join judiciary. That is another option now. You have a lot of, like for example, today we have a lot of vacancies in lower judiciary in Delhi. We have vacancies in Haryana. We have vacancies in Rajasthan, where we need hundreds and hundreds of judges at the judicial lower judiciary level, and number of students are the kind of student we need are not available. So the career option in judiciary is again a very important option, and the students can certainly opt for it. I remember on my own story at NLU Delhi, the girl topped in the judiciary examination from NLU Delhi, and one girl student also topped in Haryana judiciary and one in Punjab judiciary. So the students are taking those options very seriously. So that is a very important good news actually. Then the students can go to JAG branch. They call it the JAG branch is the legal branch in the army. They can go in army, they can go in Air Force, and they can go in Navy. And then teaching is another option. A lot of students now, especially girls, are taking up LLM, and after they do LLM, they qualify NET, and then they do their PhD and come to teaching. Teaching is again a very important option. Of late, more and more students are coming to join LLM in different institutions in the country. Then there are law officers in the ministries. Every ministry will have law officers, and they ultimately are known as a cadre of Indian legal service, where they can serve in different ministries. NGOs at the national level and the international level also hire law professionals. That is again for those who want to be more socially sensitive and want to serve the society can join the NGOs at national and international level. Then civil service option I just mentioned to you. Many students from the law schools now for the last 10 years have started going to civil services. Then there are some central services like CBI, for example, where the law graduates are interviewed by the UPSC, and then they can join services like this. And so there are many career options like this. The placement is because of the own efforts of the students. You'll appreciate one thing, that all these majority of the career options which I mentioned, except the option of the joining a corporate law firm or a multinational, you find that 9 out of 10 career options, the placement is entirely because of the efforts of the students. So it is very important to note that ultimately in a law school, what matters is the hard work done by the students. And it is ultimately the institution will provide you all kind of help, but what is required is that research skills, which we provide you through research projects, we provide you through MOOCs, where institutions of course help, but accept for the fact that ultimately you are your own godfather and your own hard work will pay, that how much research skills you acquire. So the mandate of any law school is to prepare a generation of lawyers who are, which I often say, technically sound. By technically sound, I mean that you have a very sound interface of law and technology. We saw recently that when we shifted to the online teaching and learning and research mode, how important is technology for any institution, including the law school. And then you should be professionally competent. And when we say professionally competent, like the activities like MOOCs or debates, when you acquire those skills of communication, the body language, how to communicate, how to speak, and that becomes very important for a lawyer. For a lawyer, it is very, very important to be very communicative and a good speaker. And then you should be socially relevant. The dean mentioned about the kind of activities they do at the law school in IILM, that is legal aid and the legal awareness programs. So we should not only be technically sound and professionally competent, but we should be socially relevant. That means we should not only produce good lawyers, but we should also produce good human beings. The best thing would be that any lawyer should be a good human being first. So the moral of the story is that if the students work hard in their internship and research projects, let me mention to you that in one of the board meetings when we had Mr. Jyoti Sagar come, and we were discussing about the interns, that we have a very robust system of internship at the law school in IILM. That means in the first year, they will go to library internship. Second year, they will go to NGOs. Third year, they will go for trial courts. Fourth year, they will go to corporate and multinationals. And then fifth year will go to Supreme Court, High Court, and NGOs, depending on their interest. So this internship system, which is very, very strong at the law school in IILM, will provide them the base to acquire best of skills. And that is what is required of any good law school. And these internship are important because many students get offer in a law school when they are interning. And this was mentioned by Jyoti Sagar in the meeting in the board, that if somebody is good and somebody is hardworking, and we are impressed with the boy or the girl interning with us, sometimes we offer them that the moment you complete your studies, you can certainly come to us. So as I said, the moral of the story is that it is because of the hard work of the students which pays them. The best example of the national law universities, national schools where maximum students go to the corporate sector is because of the research potential. Many students ask me that why the students from other institutions except the law schools or law universities are not getting placements in the best of corporate law firms and the multinationals. And my answer is very simple, because the kind of research potential which the students and the law schools and the law institutes acquire, that kind of research potential is not acquired in other institutions, because the research potential is very, very important for any good lawyer. Whether you intern with a judge or intern with a lawyer or intern somewhere else, you must have best of research skills. So the students become their own godfather and acquire potential to go for the best corporate law firms in India, including magic circle firms. We see that many of the students from the law schools and the law universities not only join best of corporate law firms in India, but they also join best of law firms in other countries. Like I know that at least 50 students are working in the magic circle firms in UK from NLU Delhi alone. And if you count the number of students working in all over the globe in USA and in UK from different law schools, there'll be a big number. So the wish of the parents and the teachers is always that the student perform and well in their studies and overtake them in their performance. And my daughter is also a corporate lawyer. She is working in the competition law team as a partner in the Sadhu Ramachandran firm. And one day she was just discussing with me and said, "What are your expectations from me?" I said, "Very simple." And my simple was that I asked her, when that time I was at Hyderabad as a vice chancellor, "Are you happy that I'm your father? And when you say I'm Ranbir Singh's daughter?" She said, "Yes, I am very proud of you and I feel very happy when I introduce myself." I said, "My expectations are, can you do something that I introduce myself through you? I want to see a day when I say I'm Manika's father." So that would be the happiest day for me. And that is in fact the intention of each and every parent and the faculty, that when we say that so and so is my student gone to a Rhodes Fellowship and so student to go into civil services, and that brings us maximum happiness. There are many stories of success in fields, not only in law but in other fields. Let me illustrate. I'm from Haryana, and the most successful story I have is of Mr. Neeraj Chopra. He belongs to a very, very modest family with no family background of sports and not even good studies. He was in a low rank in the army, but because of sheer hard work, he worked so hard that he could manage to get a gold medal for India. And if you know that out of the 8 gold medals, 4 came to Haryana. And I'm not mentioning Haryana because of any other reason, because IILM is based in Haryana. I'm mentioning this because all these gold medals are in sports, where the 90% effort is of the winners, the sportsmen. They work very hard, their own efforts. They were dedicated. They honestly worked very well. So there are stories like this. So the expectations of every teacher and parent is the expectation of a professor carrying a sticker at the back of his car. Once a professor was carrying of a law, in fact, was driving a car, and at the rear back of the car was a sticker which read, "I do not allow anybody to overtake me except my own students." So that is the wish of each and every faculty. That is the intention expressed, that we feel happy when our own students finally they overtake us. And finally, let me also share Michelangelo's story. When Michelangelo was asked, "How do you produce statues that are so full of life?" He replied, "The rough marble already contains the statue. It is a matter of extracting them." So all in our students, we already have the best of lawyers present. Our job as a faculty, as a dean, as an institution is to chisel them and bring it out. And we promise we will do that. My best wishes to all of you, and have a great time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Wasn't that an enlightening one? Beautifully said. And I think everybody has potential. All we need to do is really get it, put into the right molds. So thank you so much. So we do have a question from the audience. If it's okay, would you like to take it up?
Yeah.
All right. So we have a student who's asking, when choosing a college, what should be kept as a priority on their list? As there are many good law in universities and everyone is not able to get into NLU.
When I joined law, we had nobody to guide us, nobody to tell us. There were no law universities, there were no law schools. And I said earlier, most of us came to law by chance, not by choice. Let me share a story with you. Many of you will not know that the National Law School, Bangalore, we started in 1988, which was the first law school. Do you know where it started initially? It started on the campus of the Bangalore University, Bangalore, in a cycle shed. The only place available in that university was a cycle shed where a makeshift office was made and some place was given for other activities. And for a number of years, they carried on like this. Let me tell you my own story. When I started in Hyderabad, we were given a very old building, which was about 80, 90-year-old building, and which was renovated with a lot of money by the government to make it functional, because it was not being used for a long time. And the story of that building was that it was a government building, and it became inauspicious. It became inauspicious because one of the ministers who used to stay there died, and another person who was the chairperson of the Legislative Assembly lost his job. And then thereafter, nobody occupied that building. And that was given to the law universities to start NLSAR, University of Law, Hyderabad. If you go to Hyderabad in Barkatpura, you still find that building and that signboard where you say NLSAR, University of Law, Hyderabad. A very, very modest building in a very, very remote kind of a colony. And when we became a success story, that building became a heritage. So you can create heritage out of nothing. When we moved to the new campus, that building is still there. So sometimes it is not important where you start, but it is important where you reach. So my reason of sharing this story with you is, it is not important that you start in a law school or you start in a college. There are people, those who make it from the college. Let me tell you that 2 years back, the girl who topped in Delhi judiciary examination was from that MDU law college, which is in Gurgaon. You remember that? I think many of you must be remembering a girl student. She topped the Delhi examination, which is very, very competitive, very tough, and very prestigious. So it is not important. Sometimes everybody doesn't get into a law school. Everybody may not come to best of law institutions, but ultimately it will depend on how hard work you do. We for us, many of us, we never went to the law schools. Let me also share you another very, very interesting story. My daughter was organizing a function on competition law, and I was away to Dehradun. She said, you must come for the final of the program, and you are also one of the speakers. And since I was traveling by car, I was late, and I just said, sorry, I will not be able to make. She was slightly unhappy with me and said, where were you? And you could not reach from Dehradun. I said, I was in the Doon school, Dehradun. See, what were you doing there? You studied in a village school in Haryana. All your education up to higher secondary was in a village school, and then in a college in Haryana. What do you have to do with the Dehradun Law School? I said, I am on their board. See, a person who wrote his takti and slate by the side of a pond in a village school, and ultimately was attending the board meeting in Doon School, Dehradun. And when I went there for the first time, for me, it became a nightmare to find out where is the main gate of the school. And then I had to struggle because there were many gates. Ultimately, I found, and then I had to locate where the building is taking place. So you never know. If you work hard, you can reach from any place to any place. So institutions, of course, are important. They play a very important role in your life because they give you a structured program, a structured system like law schools provide you, nurture your a kind of a research potential in you. But ultimately, it is your hard work which will decide where you want to go. As I said, Neeraj Chopra is the best example.
Right, so thank you so much for sharing your inputs on this. Asha ma'am, would you like to add anything to the question?
Yes, ma'am. Apart from these, there are many other things which must look into a law school. The location advantage is it should be as far as IILM Law School is concerned. So location is very good. So you just get down from the metro and you enter into the campus. So I think location is also one of the important aspect nowadays because commutation it takes a lot of time. So people they are traveling 2 hours, they are traveling 3 hours, then they are reaching, or you will find there are many universities which is located in such a remote areas where you need your own vehicle. So this I think this is also one of the important aspect. Other aspects is what a law school gives in internships or placements or what type of activities they conduct, because it is very important. Law is a subject where you on one side it is the theoretical which you learn inside the class. You are sitting in the class and your teacher is teaching you, but apart from this experiential learning is must. So whether they are taking you to the trial courts, whether they are giving the internship opportunities, a placement, dedicated placements, and whether they invite the people from industry and academia to speak to the students. So it is also another important aspect which must be looked by the students who take admissions in a good law school. So these are some of the obviously the most important part is the faculties. So if you do not have good,
let me add one more, Dr. Asha.
Yes,
You have a residential hostel. It's a
Yes, sir.
residential school.
Yes, sir.
For boys and girls, there's a on-campus facility for the boys and girls to
Yes,
stay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Not only that, it is located at a very central place. For me, also, it was one of the parameters why I joined IILM, because it was very central and very close to my residence. I could go to other places as well, but I chose this place because of the location and also because of the reputation, and it being a fully residential campus. So that is very important, because being on the campus is also learning, and you can organize any program and any time. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Asha ma'am, Ranbir sir. I'm just going to take up the next question. So
Yes.
the student is asking how we can actually develop a legal mindset in terms of the skill development. And this is largely for judiciary, litigation, so that at the school level itself, the student can be well equipped for CLAT, etc.
Now, I was in the UGC and we were working in a committee where we thought that how we can introduce some parts of law subjects at the school level. And then now it has been done. If you see, there are courses now at the school level where those students, those who are interested in joining courses like law, they can take up those law subjects. So you can decide at that stage itself whether you would like to be a lawyer or whether you like to go for legal profession. That can be decided by you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, sir. Asha ma'am, would you like to add your thoughts to this? Any specific skill development that the student can do at the school level itself, to develop themselves for undergraduate exams? Asha ma'am, are you with us?
No, I can come in.
Sure, sir.
Those who are aspiring to join these law schools or the law institutions, whatever now, there are online, lot of centers have opened up now. Students can prepare of their own now. The old papers of CLAT or ILAT or SLAT are available, and they can of their own prepare, look into those format of papers. This what kind of questions are asked. Like students prepare for civil services, and if they have any problem, they can ask the faculty members. And one more thing which I think I would like to share with the parent, the teacher is that I was amazed to see the student-teacher ratio at IILM. I think no other law school in the country has that kind of ratio. We have 18 teachers for very because we started very young. We are a very young law school. The UGC norms are different, and then even the best of law schools, they do not have that student-teacher ratio. Even NLU Delhi, we has 1:10, but I guess you are even less than 1:10 ratio. Now, what is the importance of this? The importance of this is that this is one law school where the faculty can and they have time for a personalized attention to each and every student, where the students of the other law schools, the best of law schools, some people are enamored by very fascinating names in Haryana itself, near Delhi. I don't want to name any law school, but then tell you what, if you look at the student-teacher ratio, it is very disturbing. And how can you have 600 students and then some 30 or 50 or 50 faculty, and then think that you will be giving personal attention to the students? Legal studies are more on personal attention because you have to train them into moods, you have to train them into debates, you have to train them into quizzes, because ultimately there are different ways of improving the communication skills of the students. And research, if your number of students is large, how do you train them for research? Because research is very personalized. You have to sit with the student and guide them how to do research, how to do footnoting, how to find a case law, where to find primary sources, secondary sources, how to use the library. So numbers do count. So this student-teacher ratio is, I think, is phenomenal as far as the law school at IILM is concerned. I give full credit to the dean and the vice chancellor and everybody, the management at IILM, of giving a very serious thought to it, that the student-teacher ratio should not be too disturbing, where the teachers cannot give personal attention to the students. I think you should properly highlight this. This is a very, very important facet of the university and the law school.
It sure is. That's absolutely true. Asha ma'am, if you're back with us and you'd like to share your thoughts on the question, please go ahead.
Most of the
Any
points
skill
have
sets that the students, yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
most of the things have already been shared by Ranbir Singh sir. But apart from this, I would like to add certain more things. To have a very good legal mindset, one of the important aspect is analytical skills. Though sir has already covered it, it comes in the research part. But both the study and the practice of law, it involves many quantities of information. Then having it into something which is very manageable and logical as well. So analytical, at times you will find that there will be more than one a reasonable conclusion or more than one precedent which is applicable to resolve a particular solution. So to have a very proper and very good legal mindset, one needs to have the analytical skills. This is very important. Research skills, so sir has already discussed. Then creativity. So you will find that nowadays the top lawyers, they are not only very logical or very analytical, but they also display a very great deal of creativity in their problem solving. So this, I think these should be the important characteristics when you say that what should be needed to get a very good legal mindset.
Fair enough, ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much, sir and ma'am. I'm just going to take up the next question, and that is that how many options do we have in law? So, for instance, criminology. So, would you like to just highlight, the different streams that we offer at IILM as well, Asha ma'am?
Yeah. So, as far as LLM is concerned, so we are offering 7 specializations. So we have alternative dispute resolution, we have criminal law, victimology and criminology is a part of criminal law. We have constitutional law, we have intellectual property rights, we have cyber law, and we have business laws. So we offer 7 specializations in LLM. As far as UG is concerned, so coming 7 semesters, so we'll be having 6 specializations. So it is all the specialization is as per the Bar Council of India plus in the emerging areas. So you will find agricultural laws. that we are also teaching agricultural laws. So we are also, have inculcated the drone, anything which is related to artificial intelligence in our code. So we provide most of the emerging areas in law. We are providing most of the specializations. You name a thing, whether it is international humanitarian law, it is international law, it's international trade law, whatever it is. So we provide. So and we have specialized faculties also to teach these subjects.
Yeah, when the students will come to fourth year, fifth year, we will be doing these specialized courses through seminar courses.
Yes, sir.
They will be given the options to have seminar apart from their compulsory papers. So normally, say for example, in fourth year, you can have 2 seminars or 4 seminars. And then students will have the options like to study energy law or to study competition law or to study insolvency law. These new emerging areas are getting a lot of importance. So fourth year, fifth year would be there will be 2 years where students will be getting specialized seminar courses so that they can choose the area of their choice.
Right, absolutely. So that makes sense. With that, so if you can take up the next question. We have a student who's dropped in her question in the chat box, and she's asking, I'm a candidate from Delhi University BA program first year and want to do LLB. Now, should I prefer to do a 3-year LLB or a 5-year BA LLB or a BB LLB?
That is very personal. So we cannot say that you leave your BA program and come to a law school. You may or may not get admission. And as far as the 3-year course is concerned, most of the students, those who are interested in the 3-year program, they go to Delhi University. So that is a very, very personal choice. Very difficult to answer such personal choices.
Yeah, that's true, sir. Anu, if you'd like to reach out to our team, you can always just connect with us. We'll help you one-on-one to get a better understanding. Asha ma'am, your thoughts on this question?
Yes, sir has already discussed this question. So as far as IILM is concerned or NLUs are concerned, so they don't give a 3-year degree. So it's only 5-year. So in that case, so the person who has asked this question, so they will have to leave their current degree, and as sir has already said, that they do not, there is no guarantee that they will get admission anywhere in NLU or at IILM. So obviously after completing their, this is my suggestion, you complete your degree and then you go for a 3-year LLB at Delhi University or some other university that actually provides 3-year course in law.
Yeah, absolutely. So Anu, if you'd like to get in touch with us, I'll also drop in our contact number and email ID, so you can always connect with us for a one-on-one understanding. I'm just going to take up the next question. Since you were talking about LLM, sir and ma'am, we'll just take up the next question by Mr. Ashish. He's asking that if the LLM of 1 year that is being conducted these days is the same, holds the same relevance as the 2-year LLM. Your thoughts, Ranbir sir?
See, I was in the committee which decided that whether we should go for a 2-year LLM or 1-year LLM at the UGC. And we said when students from India, they go abroad, in every country, the LLM is 1-year course. And we are losing out best of students. Why we can't have LLM 1-year very rigorous course? Unfortunately, after 1-year program was started, I have found that the best of students are joining this 1-year course of LLM in different law schools. And they are coming out very well. And the best breed of teachers which we have at the especially at the assistant professor level, and they are all 1-year LLM students from different law schools. So I am very happy with the product of the 1-year LLM course.
Right, sir, absolutely. Asha ma'am, your thoughts, since we do provide it at IILM University, your thoughts on this?
Yes, so I don't find any difference between one LLM 1 year or LLM 2 year. See, LLM is only an academics degree, right? You can be a teacher after completing your LLM. So you can become a teacher after completing 1 year or after completing your 2 year. So it hardly makes a difference because ultimately it is an academics degree.
Yeah.
So you can be a teacher after doing a 1 year LLM course. So it does not make any difference.
Absolutely. And that works for a PhD student as well, right, ma'am? So if they're applying for a PhD program, they can easily get through with those.
You can go for PhD after completing 1 year and you can be teachers.
Absolutely. So moving on to the next question. I plan to do my master's, that is the LLM course, from abroad. Do you think that is a better idea once I've completed from India my BA LLB?
If you can afford it, that's a good idea. Because it's very costly to do LLM from abroad. And it's not easy. Financially, it is very burdensome, actually. But if you do it from even best of institutions in India, let me tell you that as far as the standard of LLM is concerned, there's not much of difference. The only difference is that the degrees outside is much research oriented. And in our places also, the most of the LLM degrees are very much research oriented, because in every paper you have to do a research project. You have to also write a dissertation when you come to the final semester. So there is not much of a difference now. But obviously we are enamored by foreign tags, and that I'm LLM from Harvard or Yale or Oxford or Cambridge. The only thing is that the research potential is different. That I certainly agree that those are very research oriented universities. And we were having a lot of emphasis on good teaching, but not on good research. It is of late for the last 15-20 years that we got into the research business. And Indians, once are serious about something, we are wholly into it. Now we are very serious about developing research potentials in our students. And now they're coming out with the best of research articles and journals in almost all the law schools.
Thank you so much. So I hope that answers the question for our student. With that, I'll just take up the next question. This is on practical learning at IILM University with respect to the IILM Law School. So what are the pedagogies that we adopt here? Asha ma'am, if you'd like to answer that.
For all the activities that we conduct at IILM, so you would be surprised that since July 2021 till 31st March, we have conducted more than 60 activities. So all the activities and these activities that includes faculty development programs, webinars, seminars, workshops, paper presentations, and we have also conducted an international conference to celebrate the Constitution Day on 25th and 26th November. So we received more than 80 papers, very good research papers we received. So for the experiential learning, so our main focus is on 3-4 areas. First is the moot court. So we conduct every month, we conduct intra moot court competitions. And every month means every month. Then, we have created a pool of researchers, a pool of speakers, a pool of team A, team B, team C, team G accordingly. And from 7th to 9th April, recently we have also, conducted our first national moot court competition, which was a very grand success. So people from across the country, they came and, they participated in this moot court. So this is our first very strong area. The other strong area that we are having is the legal aid activities. So we have, as per the district commissioner of Gurugram, so we have adopted 4 villages, and our students nowadays, they go to these villages to create legal awareness camps. And like for example, 1st December they went to a village and where legal awareness was created for the HIV positive people. And then under the guidance of the chief judicial magistrate, so every week our students, they go, they give us some designated some place, and our students, they go and visit these places to create legal awareness, to to do the literacy camps and other various other schemes and everything. So our students, they are very active as far as legal aid activities are concerned. So you will be surprised that for the month of April, our students are busy for 21 days, continuously for 21 days, because the Haryana government, they have shared a list of activities that has to be conducted with the help of the legal aid cell. And IILM University is a part of these activities. Every day our students, they go, and under the guidance of the chief judicial magistrate. So this is our second thing. The third, experiential learning, is the most important part of any law institute, that is internships and placements. So we have at IILM, we have a corporate resource cell, which is handled by a very experienced faculty, and we have tie-ups with many leading NGOs, then corporate houses, legal firms, and councils and judges. So our students, we have made the internship plan in such a way that every student, after completion of every year, the students, they go and visit and they do their internships under a particular category. For example, after completion of their first year, the students, they go and research in a law library. So we have tie-ups with the Indian Society of International Law. With our students, they go to Indian Law Institute, Library of Supreme Court, High Courts. After completion of their second year, the students, they are placed to intern with some reputed NGO. Very recently, we have also an MOU with Dr. Kiran Bedi's NGO. Then after completion of their third year, the students, they go to trial courts to see the procedure, to see the practical experience. After fourth year, they go to intern with judges and in council. And after fifth year, obviously, then they are free to do. One student, he wants to be a human rights activist, so they go and work with a human rights lawyer or with a firm that takes care of human rights violations. So this is how we have done. We have been doing with the internships. Then the other last part is webinars. For the holistic development, we have these webinars and conferences where our students, the people from the industry, they come, they speak to our students, they share their experiences, and they speak on the latest developments, the impact of these developments, amendments with the students. So the students, they get to know what is happening inside the classroom, what is happening outside the classroom. So both type of experiences they are having. So we are giving them theoretical experience as well as the practical experiences.
Perfect, ma'am. Thank you so much. I hope that answers the question. A host of, variety of things that the student can get at IILM for sure, in terms of their law, practical exposure and legal studies. So with that, I'm just going to take the last question for the day. And this is by Mr. Satvik. He's asking that, sir, I'm planning to do LLM and a computer course and aspiring to enter in the corporate world. Can you guide me if it is the right decision or not? Again, a personal question, sir, but would you like to take that up?
Computer course is very vague because I don't have any idea what he means by computer course. We already know too much of computers this generation, and how computer knowledge is certainly required for acquiring best of professional skills and for research, because now there is so much of material available online, and you have free access to so much of material that you, in foreign countries, they don't even have libraries, because the entire material is digitized, and you can access any material through your laptop. So I really don't get any sense what he really means by that he wants to acquire computer knowledge and then get into a corporate law firm. I can understand that if he means acquiring research potential, certainly help.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Because I think what he also tries to say is that probably he wants to get into cyber law. But Satvik, you know what? For better understanding, I would suggest that you write to us. I've given the email ID on our chat box. Write to us for a better understanding and better clarity in terms of answering your question. Right?
We will be always available for any further questions from anybody. The dean would be available, and the faculty would be available. I myself would be available. And as we know, we keep meeting every day, and we'll be happy to, we are very prompt in answering questions. So we'll be happy to answer any question. Before we wind up, or Dr. Asha will wind up, we also need to say something about the MBA law program, which we want to start.
So yes, so thank you so much, sir, for reminding me this. So from this year, so coming July, so we are starting a program in MBA in law. So it's a program where you will be studying. See, you have heard about MBA in HR, MBA in finance, and MBA. So that will be a program where the students, it will be legal managers basically. So nowadays we all know that if you are working with a firm, so either you are a manager or you are a law person. So if you are a law person, you do not know how to manage things, and if you are a manager, then you do not know the legal integrities. So this will be a program that will be for 2 years, MBA that will be divided into 4 semesters, and every semester you will be studying 2 or 3 MBA papers, management papers, and on the other side law papers, but the degree will be given by the law school. So this is one of the unique degrees that has been initiated by the IILM Law School, and you will find that only I think 2 or 3 universities in India they have started this program. So
Bangalore, Hyderabad, they are already doing it.
Yes, sir. So this is one of the unique program that will be the USP of IILM Law School. So in case if anybody is interested, so please connect with Urvashi and the mail IDs that has been provided by Urvashi, and you will be able to know more about MBA in law. So this is one of our flagship program.
Thank you for enlightening us, Asha ma'am and Ranbir sir. Before we leave, any parting thoughts, Ranbir sir, before we leave for our students today?
Somebody asked me that what is the mantra for success? I said it is very simple: work, work, and work. Because it is very easy. If you are ordinary, you can become extraordinary. But what you need to do, you put that extra before ordinary. If you put that extra before ordinary, not that you extra sleep, you extra eat, you extra play, or you extra see movies, or you see extra mobile phone, or extra internet. No. If you do extra studies, if you are keen to acquire extra skills, I like Neeraj Chopra, if you work hard, you can become from ordinary to extraordinary. The mantra is very, very simple. No lunch is free.
Absolutely, sir. No free lunches. Thank you so much. Asha ma'am, your parting thoughts for today.
Yes, yes. So I would like to give just 2-3 suggestions, and which are the most important. First of all, you should do the review before each class. So review your reading notes. What you are today you are going to study in the class, because that way the case that everything will be fresh in your mind, and you will be substantially increase your ability to follow the class discussions and everything. Second thing is, another important aspect: at least go to the class. Do not bunk classes. So because nowadays most of the professors, teachers, they cover some material in the class which is not discussed in the reading. So failure to attend classes will put you at a very big disadvantage when you take the final exams. And the third is, when you have entered into the class, so at least pay attention in the class. So these are the 3 important mantras that I would like to give. At least go to the class, then pay attention in the classes, and participate in the class. So students, you will learn best when you actively engaged in the learning process. So all these things from my side. There are many others, but at least if they do these things, so that will be.
It's okay. I think there are some more questions probably.
Yes, sir.
There is one more, sir. How to be motivated during odd days, not so great days.
What is the question?
How to stay motivated during the not so great days or the odd days.
You just see, law is such an interesting subject. If you don't want to read the textbook, read the case law. Some case law are such wonderful stories that you don't find such stories anywhere else. So it is for you to be innovative and to read such case law, which is very interesting. I was mentioning to somebody that when I was a student, the very first move we did was on A.N. Mukherjee versus State. It was on the bigamy, I still remember the citation of the case. A.N. Mukherjee versus State, AIR 1969, Hyderabad 489. So the question was whether if there are multiple ceremonies of marriage, but the essential ceremonies are not performed, is it a valid marriage? And the court said, no, you may perform thousands of ceremonies, but the essential ceremonies are not there, then the marriage is not valid. So that's how what people sometimes they deceive when they told the other party that no, we are getting married, we go around the sacred fire, we exchange garlands in front of the moon, we go to Kali temple, but this is not a marriage. Unfortunately, this is not a marriage, because in say for example, if there is a marriage between a Hindu boy and a Sikh girl, either there have to be Sarpati or there has to be Anand Karaj. If none of these ceremonies are performed, the marriage is invalid. So it's so interesting, you know. So law is a very, very interesting subject. You can find lot of books which are which are case books, which are fantastic cases, especially in criminal law. You see none of these cases. They're wonderful cases. So law is a very interesting subject.
That makes it all the more exciting, the diversity, the variety that you can actually seek out, and by reading and research, right, sir?
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. Anu, I hope that answers your question. And to everybody who had the question of how to apply with us at IILM University, all you need to do is just click on the link that I've shared across on the chat box. You can visit our website, which is iilm.edu.in. Or you could also reach out to us, write to us at admissions.ilmu@ilm.edu. I've also put down the contact number for now. And I hope, we hear back from most of you. Thank you so much for all the questions. I think that really helped answer all of the, questions that probably must be running in through a lot of students' minds. And before we sign off, Ranbir, sir. Yes, sir.
I would also add, anybody interested in coming and meeting us, they can come and meet us personally. Now it is not necessary that they can meet us online. They can physically meet us, talk to us across the table and discuss about what we discussed right now. So that is another opportunity we give to you. Either you can talk to the dean or you can, I'm a free person, you can talk to me because others are busy, but the most free person on campus is the Pro-Chancellor. So you can certainly come and discuss with me for anything about law or any doubts you have. Probably we will create a system that if anybody would like to come on the campus and discuss with us, we'll work out as to what day you can come and what time you can come, so that we have a system of, if anybody would like to come and discuss with us, we'll fix up some time and date and days also.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. I was just about to mention the same. Anu, you've asked, is there any way to approach you online mode? Again, I've already put it down over there, so we'll be able to answer it immediately as soon as you drop it in.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, with that, let's conclude the session. We're running a little short of time, but nonetheless, it was a pleasure to have with us our Pro-Chancellor, Professor Ranbir Singh, our Dean, ma'am, from the IILM Law School, Professor Dr. Asha Verma, and the entire panelists who've been present here from IILM Law School, Professor Purvi, Professor Aditya, Professor Pala. Thank you so much for joining in. A special thanks to the admissions team because they are the ones who've literally given us direction. And at the same time, Vikram sir, without whom the online mode or the virtual mode would not have been possible. So thank you so much to everybody here. Thank you, students, for joining in. All the very best for your examinations. Do well, stay focused, keep reading, keep researching, and keep connecting back to IILM University. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Urvashi. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure, ma'am.
Well done. Well done. Best of luck.